Welcome to the stream, everybody. About to get episode 13 of Direct Sports Daily started. Let me change this title real quick. Also reminds me I gotta post this video to Instagram real quick. And I can get started recording the podcast. Hope everyone's doing lovely on this nice Wednesday morning. I usually do this before I start, but I forgot this time. No worries. Shouldn't take me more than a couple seconds. Post and install the social medias. I realize this is real interesting stuff I'm doing here, but okay, there we go. Time to get started. Pressing record in. I don't even have this hooked up yet. I don't even have my phone hooked up to the mixer, so. Okay. As soon as I can eliminate the static, we can get. Okay. I'm going to just cut the stream real quick. Okay. Welcome to the stream for real this time, everybody. Direct Sports Daily episode 13, I think we're on now. Thanks for coming out. And I am hitting record in 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Direct Sports Daily, your source for a fresh new take on all the latest headlines from the world of sports. And now, here's your host, George Bennett. Welcome to the show, everybody. Today is April 19th, 2017. And today, we got to talk about it. Aaron Hernandez commits suicide in his jail cell. Just another tragic day for his entire family, everyone who once knew and loved him. Just hard to hear something like this. No easy way to talk about something like this. I know a lot of people are saying, well, he was a convicted felon. He was convicted of murder, but at the end of the day, this is still a tragedy. None of us want to see another man take his own life. And I think one thing we gotta think about to put this all in perspective is this is a man who had a family, had a fiance, had a daughter, had a mother. they're all grieving today. And before we start trying to put out any negative thoughts out there into thinking that this isn't something that it hurts us as a people. Like anytime someone takes their own life, it just hurts the entire world. Like because you never know what that person could have done, and I know a lot of people, like I said earlier, are gonna try to say, well, the man killed somebody, and in a lot of people's estimation, killed like 3 people. But I think what we need to think about is that 4-year-old girl who now has to grow up. She was never gonna be able to have a true father-daughter relationship, and now she's never gonna even get to be able to get to know him through like letters and like brief visits or anything like that. He's just gone from her life, and this is truly a rough day. But no easy segue from that. Uh, but let's talk a little NBA playoffs. So, shocker to me. I know I called it last week. I said the top 4 seeds wouldn't lose more than 3 games in the first round, and we've already seen the top 4 seeds lose a combined 3 games. So unless things turn around for the Celtics, they are going down. Losing 2-0, especially losing your first 2 games at home, does not bode well for this team. I think Chicago is. I don't know how they're getting this done. Rajon Rondo, I guess he's just showing out because it's his former team, but this man is playing on another level, a level we have not seen him play at since the days of the Big Three, like when they were starting to get old and fall off, and that sort of became Rondo's team for a brief stretch. But just looking at some of his numbers from last night, in 40 minutes, he puts up 11 points, 14 assists, and 9 rebounds. So 1 rebound shy of a triple double. Very close to a Jason Kidd triple double. A few more assists than you would think for a true Jason Kidd triple double. But Butler and Wade both chip in 22. But Isaiah Thomas, only 20 points in this one. For a guy that's such a focal point of that offense, you probably need more out of him than that. Avery Bradley shooting just 5 of 15 from the field. Thomas 6 of 15. These aren't numbers that are going to get it done. I don't know what all is wrong with the Celtics. It's probably mostly due to the fact that Marcus Smart had 8 rebounds for you, and he's a point guard, and he was second on the team. Al Horford with 11, but Amir Johnson, if you're only gonna, Amir Johnson, he didn't play much in this one. He didn't have much out of Tyler Zeller either. Like Kelly Olynyk, he played 24 minutes. He comes down with only 4 boards. Like that's been the major issue for the Celtics all season long is the rebounding, and again they get out rebounded by 5 in this one. But ultimately, they had no answer for Rondo. Rondo was dishing it all over the place, finding open guys. Just the sheer efficiency of shots. There's a 5% disparity there. It's like the Bulls are doing, like, they're pretty much playing every facet of the game slightly better. Sorry. Than the Celtics at this point. Like from 3, they shoot 40%. The Celtics shoot 30%. The biggest issue for the Celtics I'm seeing just looking at the box score was the free throw shooting. I that's mostly on Isaiah Thomas because he's the one that drives and gets to the line the most. He shot just 7 of 13 from the line, so that's not what's gonna get it done from for a guy of his caliber. He should be shooting at least 11 of 13 from the line, and it's a bunch of little stuff. Brad Stevens is now the worst coach in the NBA postseason history now. Following this loss, I think they said he was 2-10. So it's hard to believe, given that they went on this tear in the regular season. But Brad Stevens could be coaching for his job in these next few games. I mean, you can't just simply ignore that terrible postseason record. It's not something you can just gloss over. It's clear with a postseason record like that. It's clear you're unable to make the adjustments in between games. Like coaching becomes huge in the playoffs because you are playing the same team over and over again. It's not like you play a team once, maybe twice in a row, and then you're not going to see them again for another 3 months. So they've had a lot to think about. That like each team is focused directly on you at all times. And Brad Stevens, maybe it's time to head back to college with a postseason record like that. Obviously, even if he is fired from the Celtics, he'll get another NBA job. And I'm not quite sure it's time to pull the trigger on that. But in the event of a sweep, I think it's most certainly what's going to happen. It's like, obviously, Isaiah Thomas, his mind is elsewhere. I know it was stated that after this game, he was headed right out to on a flight to Seattle or something like that to be with his family. Obviously, that's what matters for him right now. And you hate to see something like that happen this at this time or at any time, really. But I don't think if you're the Celtics, you can lean on that as an excuse. I mean, there's 13 other guys on that roster who also helped you get to where you are. And by all accounts, Isaiah Thomas, his biggest struggles are at the free throw line right now, which is he's a career 88% free throw shooter who's currently shooting 68%. Um, that clearly just comes down to his mind is clouded. I think because free throws, he shot 91% during the regular season. For that kind of drop off to happen, that has to be all mental. Um, because free throws are free throws, regardless of what the situation is, or like there's no defense the Bulls are putting on the free throw line. But yeah, gotta give the Bulls credit. They're getting it done when it matters most. I still don't think it matters in terms of the Bulls. They'll come across more than likely the Wizards in the next round, and I think the Wizards will probably destroy them. Um, John Wall is not gonna have. He's not gonna let Rondo do what Rondo's been doing. Another thing that gets understated is Isaiah Thomas is a terrible defender. I think he actually ranks as the worst defender in the NBA. So Rondo's having a field day with him. So it's completely understandable. Like I'm just looking at some of these names, like Zipser. Like I, I've heard of this guy. I have no idea who he is. Paul Zipser. He put up 16 last night in 29 minutes. Like when you're giving up those kind of numbers to Paul Zipser, something's clearly wrong with this team. And That's not somebody Isaiah Thomas would even be guarding. That would be more than likely Jay Crowder or Jalen Brown on him most of the time. So, or Avery Bradley even. Yeah, not great defense being played by those three guys I just mentioned. Marcus Smart, uh, he's gonna need to probably contain Rondo. I know they probably rather have him on Wade. Avery Bradley, he probably needs to take Wade. Crowder needs to take Jimmy Butler. This is panic time. Brad Stevens needs to figure something out. You can't, and the fact that the Bulls are just getting it done with some good, solid team ball is what's most interesting about all this. And I'm curious, did Amir Johnson get hurt? I don't remember him getting hurt or anything, but I just noticed he didn't play that many minutes in this one. I kind of forgot he was even there, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, looks like he just got pulled for sucking. So Amir Johnson's no stranger to that. But moving on to the other two games, the Clippers get a win over the Jazz. No surprise there. The Jazz were without Rudy Gobert. Um, I'm not sure when he's gonna be back. I haven't heard any news from him. I'll see if there's any right now. But without Rudy Gobert, this is an entirely different team. Without that just solid rim protector. Apparently Raymond Felton wants to see him come back and play. But apparently the Clippers just like 8 and 8 inside the paint in this game because they just did not have their solid rim protector in Rudy Gobert. I'm not seeing any. Apparently, he's day to day because I'm not seeing anything about how long he's out for. Just looking it up right now. Everything's just saying he's out for game 2, which we already know. But yeah, I think the Clippers could probably wrap this up at 5 if he doesn't come back because he truly is the heart and soul of that team. Probably should win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, you're not going to get that kind of defense from Boris Diaw. Boris Diaw is hardly a replacement. One interesting thing, they actually put Derek Favors into the starting lineup in this game. I believe he came off the bench last time around. But don't know what you could possibly do if you're Utah without him. Yeah. And I also don't know why Boris Diaw's in your starting lineup. Like, you could probably do better than him. Trey Lyles gets no playing time for this team, but that is what it is. But yeah, when you got a dynamic duo like Griffin and Jordan inside, and then Chris Paul who gets slashed to the paint, you're not stopping them without Rudy Gobert. Like I said, this is a Utah Jazz team that is in desperate need of this playoff experience if they're going to make any kind of run next year. So I think winning a series like this is kind of huge for them. I don't think it matters much if you're the Clippers. You're going to lose in the next round to the Warriors anyway. And next year you're probably going to be, if you get Chris Paul back, you'll probably do the same. About a 4 seed, losing the second round. But Utah still has home court, so we'll see what goes on from here. Game comes back to Salt Lake City in a few days. So Toronto, they get off the schneid. They end up beating the Bucks. So they got a little bit of a wake up call in game one. Good to see them bounce back and be able to get the job done here. Not much to really say about this one. You got solid outings out of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, Serge Ibaka. This game pretty much went how you thought. The the Raptors played like the Raptors, playing good, solid team ball. A lot of great efforts off the bench by Patterson and Corey Joseph and PJ Tucker. It went as you would expect. Um, Greg Monroe, still kind of weird. They're choosing to go with Thon Maker over Greg Monroe, even though Greg Monroe is a much better scoring threat at this point. Greg Monroe has been playing more minutes than Thon Maker, but Thon Maker still gets the start. But he is actually a still a rookie. This moment may be a big too big for him. I could probably say the same about Malcolm Brogdon, who is debatably the rookie of the year, but 37 points in only 37 minutes, 7 points and only 3 assists to show from his efforts. Giannis can't do it all. He put up 24 with 15 and 7 assists. He can't do it all for this team. Maybe you need to insert Greg Monroe and Matthew Dellavedova into that starting lineup. The rookies, Thon Maker, Malcolm Brogdon, I realize they're what brought you here, but if you're going to win this thing, you may need the experience of guys who've been in these kind of situations before. I don't know if Milwaukee can hang with Toronto going forward. I still think Toronto is going to end up getting this done in 5. So, good job by Milwaukee to take a game, but I don't see them winning another one. Yeah. So, I want to get back to the Celtics real quick and how they're sort of falling apart. I forgot to mention this when I was talking about it, but just some of the on court antics they had last night shows that Brad Stevens truly is starting to lose control of this team. With basically Marcus Smart flipped the crowd off at one point. He'll be fine for that. Isaiah Thomas, he was out yelling at guys all over the place. Just the body language of this team. Brad Stevens needs to get this group together. And I'm not sure. He's a very young guy. If I remember correctly, I think he might just be 40. Just north of 40. Oh, yeah, he's literally just north of 40. Turned 40 back in October. But he's a young guy. He as a coach has not been in this position. So we'll see. Just going to talk briefly about the NHL. Columbus, they're basically wasting all of our time and forcing a game 5 in their series against the Penguins. They win to 5-4. Yeah. I don't see them pulling off the comeback from down 3-0. Got to win 3 more in a row. No. Edmonton, they get just blanked by the San Jose Sharks. Connor McDavid, weird to see him not stepping up. Like he's one of the leading scorers in the NHL already at his very young age, but I know this has to sting for him seeing his team get blanked and seeing his team get blanked like in the playoffs like this. I was just looking it up. Whenever you type in Connor, it autocorrects to Conor McGregor before McDavid. So NHL, get your marketing up because there's no way a UFC fighter should be coming up before the star of hockey. But Conor McGregor's hot right now, and the whole Floyd Mayweather thing, that's only helping his brand grow. So apparently, there's one more game in the NHL to talk about. Rangers and Canadiens, that's all tied up. Yeah, that could easily go 7. Although Montreal was one of the top teams in the East. I'm still upset they get such a favorable matchup because by all accounts the Rangers were one of the worst teams in the East. Even though Montreal had the 4th best record, they get to play them. Just a weird thing with hockey and playoffs. I went into, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, but hey, it is what it is on that one. So, Alan Branch, he's upset over Donald Trump's Access Hollywood remarks and stuff like that. And we're not a politics show. We're not going to get into any of that. But when it comes into the sports realm, we'll briefly talk about it. Him, along with Martellus Bennett, Chris Long, Devin McCourty, Garrett Blunt, and Dante Hightower are all skipping the White House visit today after the Patriots won the championship. It's gonna be interesting to see, like, given a lot of the things these athletes have come out and said. You obviously have remarks by LeBron James and Stephen Curry. By all accounts, one of them will probably have a visit with the president scheduled at some point because obviously one of them is going to win the title. I know I spent a good amount of time talking about the NBA, but no one else has a chance to win it. But yeah, a lot of Patriots are not making the visit. Tom Brady, who's been a pretty vocal supporter of President Trump, he actually isn't attending himself due to personal family matters. But it's kind of weird. This is I feel like this is gonna be a story we'll talk about for quite some time, given the tumultuous nature of the political atmosphere in this country right now. But hey, so another Patriots news: they re-signed James White to a 3-year contract extension. James White, he was probably the real MVP of Super Bowl 51. Obviously, you couldn't give it to him because Tom Brady is Tom Brady. But he proved a valuable asset to this team. A lot of people say this could mark the end of Deion Lewis's tenure with the Patriots. I know he struggled even after coming back from injury. He had a great 2015, but 2016 was not a great year for him. Riddled with injuries, fumbled a lot. I remember him fumbling at least 3 times this past season. I know at least 2 of those were in a big time game. So they signed Rex Burkhead in the offseason. They're playing a bit of cat and mouse game with LeGarrette Blount. So yeah. Apparently, there's allegations about Joe Mixon from high school. I don't really care about that enough to click on it and read about it, but hey, if anyone else wants to know, I'll let you know it's out there. Michael Phelps talking about coming back and swimming more. Oh, I scroll down a bit and it says Joe Mixon allegedly hit another girl while in high school. So maybe this is a trend for him. Maybe someone's just trying to cash in on something. Who knows? I don't know. The Browns are still talking about Cody Kessler for some reason, as if he's ever going to be a thing. Starling Marte suspended 80 games for PEDs. Sucks for you if you're a Pirates fan. Oh, wow, this is pretty big news. Durant is now questionable for Game 2 with the Warriors, the calf strain. I think if you're the Warriors, you pretty much win with or without Kevin Durant. So if he needs to sit him. Don't risk it. You need him for the conference finals and the finals. I like how this is a headline. Grayson Allen returning to Duke for senior season. As if he really had a choice. Like, who was taking him in their, like, latest mock draft? Like, beyond, like, the very end of the second round. Like, come on. A guy with little talent and a lot of off the court antics, and off the court antics. I'm sorry, I should say. Like, you're talking about a guy with a ton of baggage and not a ton of talent. That's a terrible combination. But with that, that's probably gonna wrap it up. Jesus. Apparently, Mike Conley bought 500 tickets he's planning to give away to Grizzlies fans. Shout out to him for that one. That's about all I got to say. Simone Biles is on Dancing with the Stars, but I'm pretty sure that show's not relevant even with like the middle-aged ladies anymore. But thanks for everybody who tuned in the live stream or is watching this on YouTube later. Thanks to everyone who's listening on podcasting services, and we'll be back tomorrow with more Direct Sports Daily. This has been another episode of Direct Sports Daily. Thanks for listening, and to keep up with the show, follow us on Twitter at the DSD Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio, or visit our website, www.directsportsdaily.com.